Hi Kevin, it's Mike. I decided to make this video directly to you because I thought if I got on the phone with you, it'd only last about 30 seconds. And if we texted each other, it would only last about a minute. This way you can actually listen to me, hear me, see me directly, and determine for yourself exactly what I'm saying. You can play it back for better understanding. You don't have to mix my words. And you also don't have to share this with anyone. I intend to make a video to Stewart directly because I believe it's time to actually speak to him directly, whether he wants to hear it or not. So what I'm talking to you about today, and hopefully we'll have a discussion later, is your leadership. Stewart should have been dismissed a long time ago from being pastor of the church. According to Scripture, according to the Bible, he should have been gone. You and the members of the Church of Bible Understanding are not doing the will of God according to Scripture by allowing Stewart to still be in charge, to still be pastor. Now, I think you're going to be the next pastor of the church. Whether or not you qualify to be the pastor according to Scripture, I'm not going to even talk about that right now. But let's just suppose that you become heir apparent, you are the pastor of the church. I'd like to say something to you now before that happens. I think it would please God if you had a meeting without Stewart and you dismissed him. According to Scripture, he should have been gone. 1 Peter, tend the flock of God, that is your charge, not for shameful gain, not domineering. Stewart's not doing his job, and he hasn't been for a long time. Not only that, he was offensive to sisters. You know Anne's account, how he tried to make her his half-wife in Princeton. You know about his behavior towards sisters at Princeton. Recently, months ago, he was at the King of Prussia Mall, and he had possibly Tara McAndrews or one of the sisters in the church, young sister, trying on short dresses for him. This is while he's married to Gail. That should have been grounds for his dismissal, period. You're letting it go. Current members are letting it go. Now, I used to be in the group, and so I understand your trepidation. It would be hard to face him. It would be hard to call a meeting and dismiss him. I believe you don't even have to call a meeting to dismiss him, to bring him actually up and talk to him. I think it'd be a mistake. I don't think he deserves biblical treatment. I don't believe he's a Christian. And if he is a Christian, which I doubt, he is backslidden beyond belief. At the grace meeting, he said that he took Jesus' place. Well, when somebody on this earth says that they took Jesus' place, to me, they are directly telling you they are a false Christ. Now, he tries to say the devil arranged it, he didn't mean to, spoke against it. What do you think he's going to say to God at the judgment? It wasn't my fault that I took your son's place in the church. And Kevin, you're responsible, and the other current members are responsible for who is pastor of your church. You decide. You can dismiss him. In fact, what you should do is call a meeting, make the decision, set it down straight. If it's just the church board, get together, dismiss him, give him a certain amount of time to get out of wherever he's living. He probably has plenty of money in the bank account to go live somewhere. and he should be in charge of his wife's care, period. In fact, it probably would be good for him to finally pay attention only to Gail and not allow others to care for her or pay money to have her being cared for. One of the standards of an overseer, a bishop, or a pastor is that they're the husband of one wife, and Paul says, manage your household well. You do that first, and then you care for God's church. If you can't manage your household, how can you care for God's church? Stewart, all his life, from 71 till now, has not shown that he can manage his household well at all. That's grounds for dismissal. His treatment of Anne was grounds for dismissal. His treatment and his companionship with Tara McAndrews is grounds for dismissal. I don't know why you and the other members don't do something about this. You could call a meeting, call the board meeting without Stewart, call a church meeting without him. If you decide you're going to make it messy, you can bring him too and just tell him flat out, you're gone, you're dismissed. You have a certain amount of days to clear out your stuff, and that's it. Here's my point. You can't serve two masters. You allowing Stewart to be pastor of your church is you saying that you fear him more than you fear God. You're willing to listen to what Stewart has to say more than Scripture itself, because you can't find Scripture to justify what you're doing right now. You can't say to God, yeah, Stewart is a man of God. He's being faithful over God's church. He's following the standards of the Bible. He didn't follow the standards of the Bible to become pastor of the Church of Bible Understanding. He's not following standards to continue to be pastor of the Church of Bible Understanding. And I would say that it would please God if you took action, instead of Stewart dying and then you just assume his throne, that it would be pleasing to God for you, and it would be honoring to Jesus for you to actually take leadership and dismiss him. That's my advice to you. If you have any questions, you can email me, you can call me. We can talk. If you're afraid, I don't even know if that's an issue with you, but if you're afraid, I understand. But the thing is that we have a choice. We either please Jesus, we look right at him, and we look at Scripture, and we determine that that is going to be our governing authority, or we listen to a man, and we listen to his version of the Bible, his version of his own faithfulness. He's not pleasing Jesus, and you know it. I hope you contact me.